Facetteers and all my people that's tired tuned into the life of a multifacet. This is your boy DeMarcus, aka your hostess with the mostest. Make sure you tap in with me on the social medias, that man Marco, mashing up with Marco on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and then my YouTube page is Multifacets of DeMarcus. But I want to get into the part 3 of my keloid process recently. So, as I told y'all, I had got my keloid removed again. It was on the 17th of March. So with this process, I'll give you the full details of it. So whenever you're going through your keloids, you can either go under anesthesia or what they call local. Local is when they have you sitting in the chair or sitting. Local is when they have you awake. So you can be sitting up in a chair. And when I went to Dr. Jones and got my keloid removed, they had me in the procedure room, and I was literally just laying on the table. So it's different than how it was for the dermatology specialists. Dermatology specialists, they have me what they would call local as well. They don't do the anesthesia, but you're kind of just sitting up in your typical like doctor room, and they numb it and then they cut it off. You don't really have much of a don't really have as much of a comfortable process. And then also, too, they don't really have much of a follow-up either. All they're doing is just injections and then telling you to use like some strips, and you may have like a gauze that you put on in case there's any type of bleeding, but they don't give you any type of like supplements or nothing like that. So if somebody's like really, really struggling, the only thing you could probably use is like a Tylenol. Luckily for me, whenever I've gotten keloids removed, there hasn't been any type of like crazy like a harm on my body. I haven't had anything that would hurt, any type of pain. So I'm thankful because not everybody experiences that. So anyways, moving forward, so when I got from my keloid procedure, what happens is that after you speak with the specialist and get everything set up, you go ahead and put part of your payment down, and then you put in the other part of the payment after you do your pre-op appointment. The pre-op is when you go virtually online, and then you speak with Dr. Jones's nurse. And so you have to tell her specifically all the vitamins and supplements you're taking, any type of medical history that you have, because they want to make sure that as they're going through this process, there's no type of health issues that are going to happen as they're going through the procedure. They also want to make sure that they're properly taking care of you. So I take, as far as vitamin-wise, I got ashwagandha, vitamin B, vitamin D. I have black seed oil, magnesium. I have a colon health pill that I take just to be able to make sure that it can help with like bloating and all that type of stuff, just to make sure my colon is always locked in. I also take, what else do I have? What else did I miss? I have an allergy pill that I take, and I believe that is it. So I also have my inhaler for asthma. I don't really get asthma problems like that, but I always have it as far as for emergency. And I'm trying to think, is there anything else that I take? Like I said, this isn't me being real and authentic. Like, there ain't no reason to hold anything back. I started to take creatine. So when it came to going through that process, it's funny because sometimes when you're speaking to doctors and they say what type of like vitamins or supplements you take, I just always say a multivitamin. But it's good to be specific about all the individual ones you take if you're not just taking one vitamin itself, because there could be parts of your system that could be reactive based on other medications that they give you. And so at first I said multivitamin, and then I had to go back and tell her that I do all these individually. She said, DeMarcus, I need to know that because you just never know how somebody can react to the medications or to the procedure. And so I had to start taking the ashwagandha and then the black seed oil, probably because the pill that they give me, the steroid that they give you is, what is it called? Man, I can't. I'm trying to give y'all each and every detailed part of the information. Oh, let me go back. I'm going to give me 1 second. So they give you this steroid. It's called levofloxacin. And then if you have any type of pain that comes up, they give you oxycodone. And so I haven't had to take the oxycodone because I haven't been in pain. But for the levofloxacin, you have to take one of these pills by mouth once a day. You start the evening before surgery with a small meal, and it's about 500 milligrams. So this is, I believe, to help with the inflammation and to help to make sure that as far as just all the stuff in your body is it's just healing properly. So you'd have to do your research to understand the full medical terminologies. But anyways, so you go through your post-op, then make sure everything's good. Again, that's virtual. You don't have to go in person. Once that's done, you schedule your procedure. For Dr. Jones, for what I believe is if you have the insurance, they do it in the facility. He does procedures every Tuesday. And so the facility is in Clifton, New Jersey. And it's literally like right over the bridge from NYC. So it's not like you got to go far into Jersey, but it's literally like right next door at the Clifton Medical Center. And so the tough thing is y'all know with any type of procedure that you get done, with anytime with doctors, that they usually let you know the day before or a couple of days, like when your procedure is. Now, oftentimes that can be like very hard for people to do, because if you have to have somebody with you, then I mean that procedure, you're gonna have to maybe go about it in a different type of way. You got to make sure that somebody's available, and that can just be hard for people's schedules, and so, or inconvenience for people's schedules. That's the word I was looking for, inconvenience. So they literally told me like the day before that my surgery is going to be at 6:30 in the morning. Living in NYC, like I know a couple of people with cars, but I ain't got like no family I can rely on where they may not have as much going on. Because even if I have family and they got their own stuff going on, ain't nobody going to be able to just get up at 5 in the morning and take me over there and then also wait until the procedure's done, which it ended up being like 4 or 5 hours in which I was there because of just waiting for other patients to go and all that. So had to get up at 3 in the morning. I literally only had like an hour of sleep because I just couldn't sleep the night before. So I had to get up. Then I also had to be able to use this. I'll be right back because I want to make sure I have it too. All right, folks, I am back. So I also use this antiseptic skin cleanser. What does the antiseptic skin cleanser actually do? Yep. So you use the antiseptic skin cleanser right before your procedure because it reduces germs on the skin. So you only utilize it one time because whenever they're going through the process of removing the keloids, you just want to make sure there's no infections or bacteria. So you literally only use it once. And so it's like $7. So you might as well use as much as you can in that one time. Just to be able to make sure everything's good. So oftentimes you use it for your pre-operative appointments, and that's what folks will utilize before they go into any type of surgery, because any type of other washes or stuff that you have may have like chemicals and stuff attached to it. You just don't want any of that on you. They'll even tell you in your notes they don't even recommend you to put on deodorant or even use moisturizers just because they want your skin to be fully clean. So because I didn't have anybody to take me to the procedure, that's why I had to go under local. So I didn't go through the anesthesia. So what I did learn, because I said this in some previous videos, maybe on YouTube, but I always thought that by going under anesthesia, it didn't really make as much sense because of how much that it costs in regards to what the doctors and stuff were getting paid, which in a sense it can be expensive, but really the main thing is to make sure folks are comfortable. For me, I had went local with the dermatology specialist multiple times, so I know how it felt. Like I wasn't going to be too uncomfortable getting it done. So for me, it was cool. I was like, I ain't got somebody, like, it's fine. So get up 3 a.m. and then I have to catch the train, which is like 30 to 40 minutes in the morning because the queues, running a bit slower. And then I have to take the New Jersey Transit and catch that at Grand Central, and then walk over to the place to get my surgery removed. So that's about an hour and a half. So I ended up getting up. Luckily, even though I hadn't had any sleep, I was still good as far as being able to move around. Sometimes you kind of remove off that adrenaline. So I ended up getting everything together. Cool. I ended up getting to the Grand Central, got my New Jersey bus ticket. That was my first time taking the New Jersey Transit. It was smooth though. So I was probably like 30 minutes late, but the trains would hit literally every single stop. It had like 38 stops. And I'm like, okay, like I'm about to be there a bit faster. Like some of these stops are going to be missed. Nah, everybody was like literally clicking on every single stop. Somebody was getting off and getting on. So I ended up getting there a bit late. But funny enough, like that didn't even matter at all because I didn't even get my surgery done probably until like an hour and a half later, 2 hours. I literally fell asleep whenever they took me back, waiting on them to do the surgery. So they had like maybe one or two people before me. So literally getting in there, I was sitting down, and then a woman was, she was sitting down because they took her husband back, and he was getting keloids removed for the first time. And I was talking to her about like the process and everything, and he had like keloids all on his chest, and he had like some tough issues in which he was experiencing. I think the guy was maybe like 50 years old. So this is the first time in his life getting the keloids removed. So I'm just kind of explaining to her about my process, and then, just talking about the content and stuff that I do. And I'm like, each and every time I have this conversation, it's enlightening because many people have either never experienced it, and it's also probably good for them to hear about somebody else getting them removed. So this is like an old school type of facility. So come in, and it was like water dripping from the ceiling, like they just had like a leak or something like that. But that's not the scary on say this is like ratchet, but it was just like I'm giving y'all the full details and scope. This is the life of multifacet. So it ended up taking me back to the room, and so the nurses and everything was really really nice. They also had like some of the like students that were like intern that were training and stuff like that. So it was good. Like everybody was really respectful. Probably after about an hour and a half, Dr. Jones came in and spoke to me and the person who was next to me about to get their keloids removed, and he was just checking in. Like really really nice guy, talking to us, just asking us questions and making sure everything was good, and just he has to also like tell you like how he's going to cut it off because he wants you to understand if he has to leave a little bit left over, that's the process of allowing the keloid to fully heal like it's supposed to. So he's also got to do his due diligence because I'm sure he does his research before you even get there that day, but he also has to, as a surgeon, be mindful on how he wants to go in and cut it. So came into the room to talk to me, and I was telling them about me getting the keloid removed from them, a few years ago, and also telling them about the content that I do. He was like, "Oh man, that's super dope. Like, I wish I would have known because we could have like went through this whole process of recording your surgery and everything like that." And I said, "Man, I had told your people, but I don't think anybody really knew to get in contact with you about it." So that was dope, even hearing that from him, because I'm like, okay, based on him even initiating that, I'm like, as I continue to do my content, this would be super dope to catch up with him later on. So let me fast forward to the procedure. They take me into the room. I'm sitting down. They have me laying on my side because he's cutting off the right side of my face. They have the nurses there, and then they put this, they put like a covering over your face, and then they end up numbing the side of wherever you're getting the keloid removed. So they put the injection fluid in there, and you literally can't like feel nothing. It's just numb. Right. And so like, it's funny because as you're getting the keloid removed, you're wide awake. You're literally talking to the nurses and to the surgeon. You can hear all parts of the conversation. It was funny too, because my nose was itching like shit. And I was like, damn, I don't know how I'm gonna itch my nose. I said it'd probably be weird for me to even say anything to them about that. And I'm over here dealing with my nose itching. And then literally when I got done with the surgery, they said, DeMarcus, so how was the surgery? Did it feel comfortable? I said, it did. The only thing that was uncomfortable was my nose is itching. The lady said, DeMarcus, you should have just said something like, we literally itch people's noses all the time. Like, you just got to let us know. And I'm like, look at me sitting there holding back, not saying nothing when that ain't even a weird thing. Like, you literally can't do nothing about that. So, but as I'm going through the process, getting the keloid removed, when I was sitting down, was literally talking to Dr. Jones. He was asking me like what I do, was telling him about my food brand and everything, was also telling him about the keloid content that I do a little bit more in depth. And he was like, yeah, man, he said, wish we could have got some content. He said, but maybe that's something we can do in the future, like have a sit down where you bring some of your desserts and we talk about keloids. And I was like, hell yeah. So when I think about the process of me going through all that I went through with the keloids and then where I'm at now, think about how that came full circle. Like going back to the main surgeon that did the keloids, going through this process of dealing with, inconsistencies as far as like with the practice whenever he was with the different entity in Atlanta, then going through the ups and downs with the plastic surgeon that I had before, the dermatology specialist, and all that. And then coming back full circle where the main doctor, I'm back at his practice, but now he's doing the surgery. And then also I'm in a phase where I'm doing the content and getting things moving. It's crazy how things can work like that. So the surgery, just like I said, happened just last week. And we're going to hope, obviously, that the keloid heals in the way in which it should. I feel confident because of the process in which they've done before, but also because of how the healing went in the area. So this could be really dope if everything continues to work out, but also it can be super dope for other people. And this is where the life of a multifacet comes in, because as I'm explaining my story, I'm able to still help other people. And as I'm in this phase of pushing my content and doing more things with the way in which I'm speaking and talking about different aspects of my life, the impact continues to push even further. The message becomes even broader and even stronger now because it can reach more people. So I'm like, this would be super, super dope. I even had a woman that reached out to me about getting keloids removed for the first time, and she said she had seen Dr. Keloid and was thinking about his practice. So it's funny that I had a conversation with somebody about that a couple of weeks ago, and then something clicked in my mind and say, let me try to go back to that practice and see if I can get Dr. Jones to be the one to actually remove it, and it happened. So again, as far as for the results, I'm going to keep doing my due diligence. I've been staying low when it comes to the healing for the keloid process. You can't do any type of strenuous workouts for like a month. You have to make sure that you're continuing to heal it in the right type of way. You can sweat and stuff like that, but you don't want to put any type of hard activity on it. And it's just taken me probably about like a little bit of time to get back into like my workflow and just get my mind and stuff clear, because like when you're sleeping at night, it's kind of hard to not sleep on the area, and then you're sleeping uncomfortably because your body's adjusting to just waking up in the middle of the night because you can't sleep properly. You're going through all that. But I'm super happy to be able to go through that process, and it feel a lot better than it has with some of the other surgeons. No diss to them, but when you have multiple keloids come back and you feel like there's no answer, you're kind of just stuck in a place of like, what do I do? But I'm hoping that my process can be one where it can help other people, and one that can truly help folks to feel as if they have an outlet. So this is like a part 3 or a third episode in regards to the keloids. And then I'm going to do one more episode explaining about the radiation process again, and then just talking to you about just how I'm thinking about impact and growth as I continue to go through this process. But hopefully for the people that haven't known about my keloid procedure, or folks that are interested in understanding about how keloids operate and the different ups and downs you go through with it, hopefully this can kind of give people like some insight, but then also a place to feel at home if they've suffered with any type of keloid or skincare issue. So if you can relate, drop a like, comment, subscribe, like just send me a DM, like telling me about your experience, and I would love to be able just to converse and just have a little bit of conversation back and forth just about that process. So it's your boy DeMarcus. This is another episode of The Life of a Multifacet. Shout out to y'all for tapping in, and I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Peace.